I'm back. Time for some bloody Outer Worlds 2! Alright, so I cleared out this whole area. And then I was going to go to that refugee camp, if I remember right. Ow. That looks like one of those fucked up paintings where it's like, depending on where you look at it, it contradicts itself. Because it looks like the ring goes behind the planet here. But that can't be like that. That's ridiculous. This looks like a Star Wars pod racer.
So you did come. Good. I'm not partial to working with those given to second thoughts. It seems we arrive on a desolate scene. I don't know what transpired, but whatever it was killed the refugees to a person. As an arbiter, I bear a strong stomach. But if you've any reservations about witnessing destruction visited upon the innocent, you'd best steel yourself.
Uh-oh, I already feel sick.
I've some theories on the refugees' killers, but I remain unsatisfied. Although I am not required to do so as an arbiter, I would care to acquire proof. We operate under the Sovereign's indefatigable will. Thus, we do not need proof. But my training was somewhat unique in that it emphasized the value of thorough investigation. Let us comb the remnants of this charnel house. Is that? Yes, that's an incisor, all right. What sort of life was this, without the Sovereign's guidance?
Shut up. Surprised there's nothing in here. Wow, investigation points.
Shame about all this blood. This blood. I just polished these boots.
And I just haven't got the skill check for like any of this. You'd think observation would come in handy here, but... Oh yeah. Oh yes, indeed.
These people could have been saved. They simply hadn't deviated from the paradigm.
Not much more I can find out, I reckon. Oh. Oh. Now let's talk about it.
I cannot help but feel a pang for these people, cut down without a hope of defense. We must uncover what transpired here. Let's hear it. Seems this base has seen its share of destruction. I maintain that it feels deliberate, judging by the still standing buildings. Was there anything remarkable about it? Thorough destruction scarcely narrows the list of possible suspects, unfortunately. Did you have anything else? Perhaps it might allow us to ascertain the final moments of the camp's machines. See if any final commands were sent before the camp's destruction. Sharp-eyed, aren't you? I noticed that as well. One destroyed automech in a massacre seems minimal. Someone visited much carnage on this place while leaving few signs of their presence. Did you learn anything by examining the body?
No. Oh. Large burn wounds consistent with a shot cannon caused by a dragoon's weapon?
I ascertained the burn wounds, but I theorized plasma damage, not electrical. Seems I must brush up on my ballistic know-how. That automechanicals would fall in the camp's defense is logical. That there would only be one is not. Did you notice anything interesting about it? Meaning its combat protocols were active for quite some time before it was destroyed. Oh? I wouldn't expect a localized transmitter to harbor anything of note. Prove me wrong. The sign that something unusual happened there may fit snugly into our other observations. We shall wait and see. You're certain you've combed the place to your liking? Then let us debrief and see if we can deduce what transpired here. Have you any theories as to what killed these people?
There they were killed by Ottomans. Definitely seems that way.
A good first observation, and one I concur with. Too little damage, no signs of traditional firearms. Have any theories about the automechs that did this? My thoughts exactly. How do you believe they were compromised? I may have a strong theory, but I do not have a definitive answer. Indulge me. How do you think the mechanicals were corrupted? I submit that the refugees predominantly used the local shortwave tower to control their automechs. The saboteur commandeered it and sent out an override. The only remaining puzzle piece is why. Why go through all this trouble to eliminate a handful of isolated refugees? Agreed. I do believe that relay is of Protectorate make, and the refugees most certainly didn't build it themselves. They were likely Protectorate as well. I hypothesize that they used it to listen in on Protectorate communications, then sold what they learned to Sub Rosa. After the Vox Relay's recent destruction, High Command would have ordered a security sweep of all communication systems. This outpost's relay would have returned a signal. Upon learning of this camp's existence, they'd have dispatched a sentinel to cross off any would-be traitors. Hence the destruction we bear witness to.
If only we'd find this dastardly sentinel.
I admire your enthusiasm, but these refugees were traitors to the Protectorate, though I still believe there was a solution here beyond complete annihilation. Now with that finished, hold. Some things approach. Be ready. I suspect someone has disapproved of our inquiry.
Looks like a fight.
Ambush.
Bent on eliminating any stragglers. Go on!
Let me handle this.
Not getting up without help, Commander!
This doesn't do a ton of damage because of the whole suppressor business.
Electrical dampeners failing.
That was a hardy engagement. You held your own admirably. These automechs will never be used to perpetrate such heinous acts again. I believe we're at the end of our investigation. The prospect of sharing our findings with the broker isn't terribly appealing, but we've little choice. I will locate my wretched Sub Rosa transport and return to Free Market Station. Pleasure fighting beside you. Be sure you return to Free Market Station to debrief with me. Despite our work here, I somehow doubt the broker would grant an audience to me alone.
Okay. So much to explore. I think I might just go here and do this though. Get the main quest started and see if that takes me anywhere deeper in.
Stranger, the Order bids you welcome, but also warnings. In light of the recent attack on Auntie's Choice, you may want to make haste to Matriarch's Mercy. It's just down the road here.
So it was one of our bases that got hit. Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
I can't rightly say, and that is rather concerning in its own right. It seems our temporary ceasefire with the corporatists may be at its end. Yes, this was an active war zone until recently, and now seems like it may be so again. Not quite certain why the attack was launched, but that is not under my purview. I'd surmise that when Auntie's Choice realized they couldn't get through our defensive measures, they wisely chose the path of diplomacy. Seems I was mistaken.
Well, it weren't our artillery that made that strike. I can tell you that much.
They must have done something to provoke an attack, which is why your safest path now is the one that leads to Matriarch's Mercy. The Order controls everything south of this point, but the rest is beset with various dangers. Zealots, scavengers, creatures, and corporatists. Well, not certain about that last one anymore after the attack. Cultists, mad to the last one. I believe they worship the rifts or some such. People will turn to anything to ease their discomfort during times of crisis, I suppose. They're both unstable and violent. Auntie's forces call them scrappers, and uses them for just that, gathering scrap materials. Excessive abuse of stimulants has made them severely unbalanced and prone to violence. They've also been known to pose as refugees, to lure their victims into ambushes. There
I can
are
attest to
several
that, yeah.
camps of them northwest of here. I'd strongly advise keeping your distance. The creatures are of the genus Varachnid. They are large enough to kill a full-grown human, and exceedingly willing to do so.
May all your endeavors elicit expected results.
I don't see anything else coming. Was it just the one?
Where'd that bomb go off? Like here somewhere, right?
You are a necessary part of the plan. Therefore, you need to be part of the Order of the Ascendant. Drop by our predictory today and find out how you can take an active part in your future. Auntie's Choice just suffered an involuntary 15% reduction in workforce. An unfortunate surprise to all personnel. Something that would never happen with your...
Think they'll notice if we jump the queue?
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Another refugee? All right, step forward. Just a moment. Allowing anyone into Matriarch's Mercy unprocessed will upset the precarious ratio of refugees to aid. We should have an opportunity for placement in approximately 7.85 days, presuming no unforeseen alterations.
I can wait, but I might get these other people sick. Skip the rigmarole.
I seem to recollect one matching your description set for arrival. Pardon my slowing your ingress. It has been rather hectic of late. Welcome to Matriarch's Mercy. Rule number 1, no crowding. Rule number 2, avoid the exclusion zone. Our seer has predicted non-specific imminent danger.
Danger has never stopped me before. Step aside, you cautious peasant.
I thought the name was self-explanatory. Our seer predicted that a corner of the encampment is in terrible danger. Danger from what? Or when? Unclear. Stay away from it, and, in all probability, you won't have to find out. Our predictions spring from the universal equation, the very numbers that guide the stars. Only a fool ignores probability, and we don't suffer fools around these parts. Not at present, but according to our predictions, the creation of a third rule is likely, if not inevitable. Safety and probability are incompatible. Eventually, nowhere will be safe. Including here. That's enough questions. Keep the line moving. You need anything, talk to Seer Wiley. He's in the lift building, straight through the settlement.
Okay.
I remember this place before the war. Functioning Trimiculums. Peaceful silence of the canyons.
I can't recall the last time this... Do you believe Arcadia shall ever return to how it was?
I wish. Between the invaders, the order defecting, there's no putting this sprat back into the camp.
Cloister is looking
I
pretty good
swear,
right about now.
it's nigh on impossible to find
Wasteland or
decent
the line?
animal remains in these
No,
parts.
Arcadia is doomed. Plain and simple.
Oh, try not to get too close. My sinuses are stuffed up, my ears are backed up, and my guts are gurgling. I could burst at any moment. Every fluid from every orifice. So keep your distance. Don't want it, don't need it. I've gotten sick at least a dozen times since we set up camp. Why, last week alone, I caught hack lung, sprat tongue, skinny teeth, and a rare case of mortified skull emergence. Figured I might as well get used to being sick. So I'm practicing for my next disease. It's gonna be a nasty one. I think it's downright awful what's happened to these fine folks. But me especially. Sickness, malnutrition, spontaneous genetic disorders, it never ends. You too. Trust me, you don't want to catch the...
You don't want to catch this.
Algorithmic dissonance? Don't even like the sound of it. How could something be incalculable? Why, the very idea is preposterous. And then we solve for the... apologies. Just catching up on a research assignment between queries. Yes? Did you need something? Typically, no. And it has been somewhat challenging focusing my concentration. The abbot felt a scientician operating in a conspicuous spot in the thoroughfare might be useful. An illustrative way for our guests to see how we operate. To show how the Crabble patties are made, as it were. That
Crabble
is,
patty.
if the meat preparation involved a 90-step rate formula and a conflux of polynomial equations. I am also on hand to answer queries by providing data supporting our actions. Though perhaps due to my central location, 89.74% of the time, I am simply asked for directions. They must be exceptionally pleased with the statistical jump correlated to residents within Matriarch's Mercy. Numbers here are pretty compelling. According to data, life inside shows a notable uptick in key relevant quality of life factors: longevity, access to medicine, potable water. Life outside sees increased risk of starvation, inclement weather, and hostile xenofauna. Yes, indeed. Numbers are really against you out there. By quite a healthy statistical margin, yes. We nurture the body while we minister to the mind. We organize, we adapt. We have diverted internal resources to better meet demand in key areas. And I'm pleased to say that's led to a statistically significant 2.7% increase in refugee satisfaction. But if my data remains unconvincing, I suggest you inquire with Provisioner Plotnik inside the lift building. Simply tell her Archivist Widmark approves brief use of her time. Then back to it I shall get.
My soup is nutritionally calculated to sustain all bodily functions. But it could
Reminds me of Tau Ceti right after the merger. Had to wait for my number to be called just to get rations and a cot. Hope these folk don't have to wait as long.
How long are we meant to stay here?
Ask the Order. I'm not in the prediction business.
Apother? Mapother? What the fuck do you say this
my
in?
nose last, Scrap. I banged him up real good for you, didn't I? I won you one, right? Matters settled.
The void you did. Barely connected. You're thinking of 2-3 scraps ago. You've been mostly unconscious a while now. You ought to talk to Boss Tilda. She's the brains in this... What does she call it? Oh, yeah. Quasi-illicit shenanigan.
Doesn't like to look at us when we're all banged up. Said my face turned her off Borstloaf.
Anyhow, head down the hill along the fence. Tell her Mapother and Mudge sent you.
Okay.
My noggin
Mudge.
sure sore.
Keep your lamps lit. Wherever there's trouble, there's always opportunists willing to profit.
You got business? No? Move on. You the fixer lent your aid to Agent Galloway? Don't suppose you got that crawling hibiscus she promised to sneak me, huh? Forget it. You can come in.
Nice.
Hello, hello. You're the one that aided us in availing Sub Rosa of a rather large shipment of Spectrum vodka, yes? Agent Galloway is slightly less trustful than most feral canids, so winning her over speaks volumes of your character. Consequently, I'm pleased to present you purchase access to my fine wares. It's fortunate you're no stranger to contraband. Idle browsers will be escorted from the premises.
Interesting. Plasma beam caster.
Step right up. My merchandise is only getting better with age. Except for the rotten foodstuffs. Pay those no mind. What fine contraband might I supply you with this day? It's superb cover and a consistent market. Refugees are in need of all sorts of supplies that the Order cannot provide. And Sub Rosa delivers. At only a reasonable markup. Myself, I enjoy the thrills of the environ. Will the Order attempt to drive me out? Will Matriarch's mercy be shelled? Shall I run out of new cereals? Oh, thrilling! Agreed. You'd do well in Sub Rosa with that philosophy. Supposing you didn't get killed anyhow. We stand that we'd like to make a good ton of bits on the war. And maybe expand our reach in the process. Beyond that, I'm not supposed to comment. But Sub Rosa consists primarily of ex-Anti's Choice and ex-Protectorate personnel. We've still got folks we care about out there. Complicates some of our feelings on the fighting. But if the fighting stops, our income begins to go dry.
Greetings. What can I help you with? Let me guess. One of your co-occupants is always hanging up his or her britches in your corner of the yurt. Am I right?
The yurt?
Or you're dealing with more of a stay off my palate or that's my air you're breathing sort of thing. Hmm? Pray elucidate the exact nature of your tiff of contention. Oh, really? Like they strung a few words together in a row and it all made sense? That's a marked improvement on earlier. Guessing they left out a bunch, though. Here in Matriarch's Mercy, if you're not a member of the Order, you're probably living close to somebody else. In some cases, sleeping on top of them. Sort of thing tends to cause friction between neighbors. Would lead to fights, but nobody here wants trouble with the Order. So they hire our hooligans to battle by proxy.
Stan, you say?
Half the time, people shy away at the first sight of blood. The other, that's what they're there for. We say, whoever wins the fight wins the argument. But frankly, it's never anything of consequence, like, okay, hurrah! This guy gets back his mangy button. Now, how can I help you exactly? Ugh, a tourist. Well, clear out then, huh? Can't have you scaring off real customers. I got a bunch of yeggs, 2 pugilized pugilists, and a sick canid to feed.
Look, your nose was just a stand-in for Duarte's nose.
Don't feel like no stand-in.
Friends, neighbors, while you shelter in Matriarch's Mercy, heed the teachings of the Order. Apologies, outsider. As a vicar, I am usually tasked with guiding non-Order lay people, such as yourself. Lately, the abbot has tasked me with the education of the refugees in our care. You are, of course, free to stay to be enlightened by my lecture, but I don't need an abacus to predict your path lies elsewhere. Well, if it's in the displaced's best interests, I imagine I can find a moment. Yes, I reckon I do have my ear to the grimy dirt floor of Matriarch's Mercy. I hear what common lay people are saying, and the wide array of bodily noises they make. Suppose I, more than any other member of the Order here, connect with non-scienticians. I've begun daily lectures, including practical advice on efficiently planning their days. I frequently launch into extended orations on everyone's favorite topic, math, and meticulously expatiate on our sex origins in the most rigorously pedantic detail. Oh dear, I got ahead of myself, didn't I? That's an occupational hazard around here. As I'm sure you've read in recent dissertations doing the rounds, education has proven to have a 13.7% increase in overall quality of life. I am single-handedly making a difference here, with constructive pointers on efficient scheduling, lessons on order history, plus some mathematics for a little added razzle-dazzle. Never as many as I would like, perhaps, but my little congregation grows by the hour. Eventually, my unsophisticated layperson friend, the knowledge just seeps right in. Give it a few years and they'll even be asking questions.
No way. Oh, goddamn, yeah. What do you mean there's no other? What? There was another one there. I swear there was another Bunty, no?
Watch yourself if you intend to nose around that collapsed ramshackle. I swear, refugee settlements aren't what they used to be. Oh yeah, Duarte. He's former aunties like me. He was underneath for a few hours. Or, no, that was before. This time it was Rollo Nast? No. Gert Valkenburg. Happens a lot. People here need more room to breathe. Can't build in the walkways, can't set up in the exclusion zone. So they build up. Best they can, at least. Don't have proper building material or nothing. They just make do. After a while, the stacked up little huts they jury-rigged come tumbling down. Oh, you put that together, did you? Here, I thought I was being subtle. Yeah, people keep at it. What else choice they have? Order won't listen. Maybe if we interspersed our requests with numbers, they'd pay attention. Seems like all they care about sometimes.
Stifled by unfulfilling work with no hope of advancement.
Welcome. Have you come to bask in the Order's knowledge?
Oh, a visitor. Hello. You weren't mentioned in my latest personalized order prediction. Granted, I mostly skim the parts what don't cover probabilistic dangers, so perhaps you were alluded to in some, roundabout fashion. Suppose that means you're not a threat. So that's good, right? Yeah, I reckon that's good.
Well, personalized order prediction is some kind of personalized order prediction, I guess?
First time I got a POP, it was on a lark. It said, Rollo Nast, our seer has predicted you must wear a helmet today. I borrowed one. As a laugh. Everybody ribbed me about it. Just after lunch, wind picked up on the cliff above and dropped a mock apple 152 meters straight down onto my head. Fortunately, I still had that brain case on. Sure, but I've had 9 POPs so far, and at least 3 times something similar happened. Avoided drowning in a culvert, sidestepped my mantisaur allergy. Forget the other. Things like that just illustrate the fragile nature of human existence, especially here in Golden Ridge. My co-occupant Ike had a POP done and told him avoid liquids for 48 hours. He ignored it. Later got drunk, passed out, drowned face first in a puddle of water. You did catch the part I said they saved my life, right? I think alive is a notable improvement on dead. That's something you can take to the bank, you know? Figuratively speaking. I don't know why the other displaced have been so slow to take to them. But I'm not complaining too loud. Waited for my latest POPs long enough already.
Okay. They just like those like people who claim they can do like fortune telling and then they say incredibly vague things.
We're not going anywhere. Not on the basis of some half-baked prediction. This so-called exclusion zone is where we stake our claim. Stand with me in defense of freedom.
Please, don't distract me from my more pressing distraction.
Except for the fact that you ain't yelling and trying to eat me. I'd have pegged you as some sort of prosperous scrapper by the rough look you got about you.
Hey.
You do got a certain feral look in your eye, though. Okay. I give up. Tell me. May Huffstutler, formerly Auntie's Choice, Department of Invasive Marketing. Now, the voice of the displaced. That's what those in the Order call me, leastways. An unofficial sobriquet, likely meant as a petulant slight. On account I object. Louder. More often than the rest. Those of us ended up here have very little except needs. I turn those into demands for reasons of clarity and import. Though, admittedly, it's a difficult way to make friends. The Order's not exactly fond of me. Rabble-rousing doesn't align with their vision of a perfect universe. Happy as I am to make your acquaintance, I'm busy staking our claim over the exclusion zone, so if you'll excuse me. The exclusion zone. The Order has decided to keep us out thanks to some nebulous prediction of disaster. Screw their predictions. We have people, displaced by war and disaster, in sore need of space. There's plenty of room to house them. Chance of life-threatening peril from a yet-to-be-determined catastrophe were the administrant's words. Not what I would call specific. I honestly don't give the slightest whit about the Order's idea of math or whatever calculation tells them that a catastrophe may or may not occur. I couldn't get anywhere with Administrant Agarwal, but you, maybe you'll have better luck. Even the Order, for all of their logical ways, value an outside perspective. And because I've run out of options. Thanks, stranger. Maybe fate's on our side for a change. You can find Agarwal in the lift building, probably formulating another equation to get on my nerves.
So this area is just really dangerous, apparently. Because the Order says so. Their equations tell of disaster.
What happened to this place? Law. Matriarch's mercy. Trenches.
Look on the bright side. I predicted.
1,068.5 pardons, but my attention is presently 99.81% occupied, coordinating provisions and supplies for the displaced. Well, if the Archivist said so, I suppose I can factor out a moment. As the assigned provisioner, I am responsible for coordinating the requisition and distribution of comestibles, medicinals, and miscellaneous vital supplies. The overwhelming majority of my time is dedicated to this, leaving only moments to see to the Order's needs in the settlement. But it is an effort I undertake with great relish. You may not have noticed, but the refugees do not want for food or medicine. The Order of the Ascendant is dedicated to the ascension of humanity. Our ultimate goal may not be reached in our lifetime. If I can help others in need today, I shall do so to the utmost extent of my abilities and resources. With the great disruption that has occurred to their lives, one can hardly blame them. That they are fed and remain healthy is sufficient for me. Appreciate you respecting my time.
Right, I'm actually gonna call it there. That food I had earlier is putting me right to sleep. And the eyes are heavy. So, I'm not gonna try and force myself through the game because then I'm not really enjoying it. So, I'm sleepy. So I'm gonna go chill. Chill the rest of the night. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock anyway, that's fine. Thanks for watching. More tomorrow, probably. See you then.